Okay, so it's Applepaloosa today. So we're back, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make baked apples. Now you can do these in your oven if you have the sewing book from Llewellyn Sabat Essentials. It is on page 109. You would preheat your oven to 375 Fahrenheit, and you would put your apples into like a regular baking dish and bake them for 10 to 13 minutes. However, I like this recipe because you can do it in the microwave, so this is gonna be nice and short. So what you need to do is you need to add to your, let me see what order it says here really fast. You need to add to your cored apples maple syrup, raisins, and then your spices. Now, I went ahead and did a spice blend. This wants you to add a teaspoon of either clove, allspice, or cinnamon to the center of your cored apples. I just went ahead and blended all three of those together because I don't have a favorite and I wasn't about to pick one. I'm also using monk fruit based maple syrup so that it's lower in carbohydrates, just, you know, because of the diet that I'm on. So we're gonna start with this, and then we're gonna add, actually I'm gonna start with the raisins because I only have 1 tablespoon measure here. So you're gonna put a tablespoon of raisins into each apple. So you'll need, since I'm making 2, I need 2 tablespoons of raisins total. Come on. They are falling. There we go. So my tablespoon of raisins into apple numero uno. Come on. You were so anxious to fall out of the spoon, and now you're not. All right, and then apple number 2, same deal. Alrighty, once you get your apple or your raisins into your apple, set those aside, and now it's time for your maple syrup. This also requires a tablespoon. Woo! As I knock spice everywhere. Go me. I'm talented, see? Except not talented enough to remove. There we go. Now, I've never actually tried this brand before, so we'll see how it is. It is very strong smelling, so you need a tablespoon of maple syrup. In each apple. And I'm gonna say right now that this is already weird to me because growing up in central Pennsylvania, we made things called apple dumplings, and it was very similar to this. You would take a very large apple, you would peel it and core it, and then sit it on some dough, some pastry dough, and you would stuff it with butter and this kind of a spice blend, more butter and more spice, and then you would wrap it up in the dough and bake it. And it was like your own personal apple pie. They are amazing, and they are so calorically dense. Okay, so then you're gonna put your spices in there as well. And you just need a teaspoon of whatever spice or spice blend that you're using. I made a little extra. Okay, now the fun part. These just pop right into the microwave here, one at a time, for 2 minutes. So we'll come back because I don't really have anything else to talk about for 2 minutes. Alrighty, so they're done. 2 minutes, 2 minutes each. So it's been 4 minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one open so that you can kind of see what's going on in here. I don't know if you can see that at all. fruits in there, all that stuff. So let's, I guess I'll try a little bit of it. It's weird not having the pastry dough wrapped around the apple, but I'm sure I'll survive. Maybe if I can figure out how to like actually eat this out of a ramekin. Let's get everything in there. Okay.
It's gonna be hot.
I know it's gonna be hot. That's why I was gonna blow on it.
Okay.
I've eaten hot things before. I know this is thrilling content, watching me blow on hot food. Ow. That's also why I don't eat on air. I think when I make this again, because I will make this again, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to mix the raisins in with the spices to get them all mixed together, because right now what I'm getting, even though it tastes great, but my tongue is now numb because you have all of those spices just sitting there not blending with everything. So I'm gonna actually, when I go to do this, like I said, when I go to do this again, I'm gonna mix the spices with the raisins at the very least, if not mix it all together with the maple syrup as well, so that it kind of distributes a bit better, so that you're not sitting here going, wow, I no longer feel my tongue. I know I have one, but I think that's a function of the cloves. So yeah, but still, it's really tasty. It's very good. Highly recommend. You know, do it however is going to suit you best. If you want to do it in the oven, do it in the oven. If you want to do it in the microwave, do it in the microwave. Just make sure your ramekins are microwave safe. Not all of them are. So that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the Applepaloosa. I can't really end the video because we have stuff to come back to tomorrow. So we'll just leave it there and say see you tomorrow. Hello, my witchlets. We are going to make a couple of things today because it's apples, and sowing is about, you know, harvesting, and apples are a big part of the season. So before I even get started with our lovely cut up apples, it's always hair around this house, always hair. Before we get started on the actual apples, which are gonna go, this is a crock pot dish, so I'm using my Instant Pot as a crock pot, and it's gonna happen overnight. So we're gonna do the very first part of it right now, and we'll come back and film the rest of it tomorrow and let you know how tasty it turns out. So the first thing we're gonna do, this is an apple curry soup that we're making, and it has, it uses sweet curry, and I have never heard of sweet curry until today. So my local grocery store doesn't sell sweet curry powder, so I found a recipe for making my own sweet curry. You're gonna need 2 tablespoons of sweet curry powder, so if you have it, you're good. If you don't have it, then this is the spice mix that you're gonna use, and I'm doubling the recipe that I have just so that I make sure I have enough for 2 tablespoons worth. So this is 2 teaspoons of coriander that I'm putting in there first, 2 teaspoons of cumin, these are obviously all ground spices, a teaspoon of turmeric, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of cloves, had to think about that for a minute, and then half a teaspoon of cayenne. And then we're gonna stir these in here to get them all integrated and happy with each other, get to know each other. You know, very hedonistic spice society here. They're swingers from what I understand. Very polyamorous. Get them all together communal style, and trying to tap out some of the little clumps of individual spices I have in here. And voila, this is my sweet curry powder. So now from here, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put everything we need into our crock pot. And that includes the peeled, cored, and chopped, you want about 1/4 inch or so chopped pieces of apple. You got 5 to 6 apples. The ones that I'm using are going all over the floor. These are Fiji's, and I just chose Fiji because I can say Fiji and I understand that they're kind of sweet. So they're also very good for baking. And that's really the extent of my knowledge on apples. We're gonna do another apple dish here once we get all of this stuff into the crock pot. And those are a different kind of apple. I think they're galas. Okay, so we have our 5 to 6 apples in here. We're gonna add 2 cups of water. A teaspoon of chili powder, and a teaspoon of allspice. Then we're gonna add our 2 teaspoons of our sweet curry mix. 2 tablespoons, sorry. Thank you, cameraman Ken, for catching my misspeak. Whew, this is very flavorful smelling. Okay. There's 2 tablespoons of that, and then we're gonna add a tablespoon, ideally, of lemon juice. Apparently my lemon juice has taken a walkabout. Don't know where it is, so I'm using lime juice instead because my citric acid is currently buried. There we go. But you could use citric acid, like a 1-to-1 ratio of citric acid to white wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar. I'd probably use apple cider vinegar personally, just because it's apples. So you don't have to stir it. I'm gonna stir it, and then this will go in the crock pot on low. It just says overnight, so I'm gonna set mine for 12 hours, 10 to 12 hours, and just let it cook from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this all set up and ready to go, and we'll come back and have a different recipe for you. You'll need 2 apples, only cored. You don't have to peel them or anything, just cored apples. Okay, so happy morning, I guess. We just went ahead and pureed the apples, basically what you're supposed to do, and then you put it back in your crock pot for an hour and to warm it back up, unless you did it like I did in an Instant Pot and you used the keep warm function over here, generally speaking, somewhere. Use the keep warm function, and then you just puree it in your pot and you can serve it up right away. So let's see how this sweet curry tastes. This is apple curry soup. It smells kind of good. Decidedly not sweet. So that's actually really good. It's got a bit of a kick to it, which is good. So that is our Applepaloosa video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, smash the dislike button, and either way, leave me a comment, because the comments are really what help my algorithm a lot. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell, and do head on over to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/KWOS, and I have some stuff over there for patrons, of course, but also just kind of publicly talking about some things I have in mind coming up specifically for October 31st, the actual day of Samhain/Halloween/ the day before Dia de los Muertos. I think I said that right this time. And yeah, so check it out and leave comments and such. I think I also have a blog post about it over at kwos.food.blog. So we'll see you next time, and be spooky, my friends.